On this episode of the Dudes Being Dudes podcast, we may have the best dude on the mound in Campbell baseball right now. Freshman pitcher Thomas Harrington, coming off a fantastic complete game this past weekend. And Thomas, let's just start right off the top with that USC Upstate series. You watch your teammate and your friend Ryan Chassie pitch a complete game and dominate that contest. What was the feeling like as a pitcher to watch him and then come right back out and shut down USC Upstate yourself?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is definitely like seeing a friend just go out there and dominate, and you love to see stuff like that. And so I guess the biggest thing coming on to my game is, we already secured the series. So what's the best thing to do? Sweep. So I was definitely looking forward to getting on the mound, and being a starting pitcher, you only get to pitch once every 7 days. And so just being able to watch Chassie dominate, I just wanted to do the same. And so we went out there and we did it.
It's crazy to think because the complete game was impressive, but doing it on 81 pitches is a whole nother level. What did it take for you to get these batters out so quickly?
Yeah, I think it was just pounding the strike zone. Really just making sure my fastball was located where I wanted it and throwing my all speed for strikes, and then just letting them do the work for me, hitting ground balls, weak contact.
We've seen some celebrations from you throughout the year, and Brooke Brown, who works on the social media side, she got a great couple of pictures of you doing the full forward flex and, kind of that wrestling celebration. Is that something you enjoy doing when you get a big strikeout?
I really haven't been the most expressive person throughout my career. And for some reason this year, I don't know, I just like getting hyped up, and it hypes everyone else up. So it's fun.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from, especially this year being your first year in college?
I think just kind of being on the bubble, just not quite dominating the league, but being close. And, this series was just huge. And so just really just hype myself up, hype the team up, and, gets the boys rolling.
So we also saw the video of CJ walking around with this huge boom box. After the series, you guys are walking back to the locker room. Describe the energy and the camaraderie of this group.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Just the camaraderie of the group. It's nuts. We all love each other. And after that win, when CJ had the big speaker up on his shoulder and we were walking in to take showers before we got on the bus, it was the most electric feeling that I've ever had in my entire life. And just being able to be with the guys and being able to just feel that energy is just awesome.
And Thomas, for you personally, these last three starts, sort of since the end of April and now into May, you've pitched three outings. I think just one run allowed in those three games after a couple of tough outings earlier in April. What has changed for you on the mound?
Yeah, I think it's mainly just mechanics. I was just, you get to a point where, you start to just get in a groove. And, I had a great beginning of the season, and then middle of the season, I was struggling, and I really didn't know what to do because I felt like I was pounding the zone. I had my best stuff, but was just getting hit around. And so really coming into May, it was just making slight adjustments in my mechanics and really just getting back to what I'm good at. And I felt like I went away from that for the three starts, starting with Charleston Southern. And so now we're getting back in the groove, and hopefully we carry that into this weekend.
We had the pleasure of seeing you at home against UNC Asheville, and the 11 strikeouts was impressive, but you got better as the game went on, which is not very common for a freshman pitcher. What did it take from your standpoint to not only have those big strikeout totals, but continue to throw well late in the game?
Yeah, I think throwing late in the game, you just got to settle in, and settling in takes longer for each person. And once I got settled in, I felt good with all of my pitches, and really just, like I said, just pounding the zone and then letting them do the work for me.
It has to be neat as a freshman, right? Because Justin Hare told us coming into the year, hey, I have this local kid, Thomas Harrington. He may throw a little bit, he may not. Keep an eye out for him. You just never know. And what was that conversation like with Coach when he sat you down and tried to evaluate where you'd sit, whether it was rotation or bullpen coming into the year?
Yeah, so I'm sure Coach Harris told you that coming into this year, he thought I was going to redshirt and just be kind of getting a big player development kind of standpoint. And my exit meeting in the fall, he said, man, don't know really where you're at, but you're not going to freaking redshirt right now. So just keep working, and we'll see kind of where it ends out. And then first weekend, and I'm on the bump Sunday in the big Liberty series, and it was an awesome feeling. It's something that you work for your entire life.
I was going to say, take me through your mindset of that weekend because you're facing a good team. It's your first ever collegiate start. How did you handle all that emotion that's going into that game?
Oh my gosh, man. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever been a part of. I was just so worried about, hey, I got to do my job and I don't want to let these guys down, especially being a freshman and all the other emotions going through. And so, I just went out there and did my job, and I felt like I'm continuing to do my job all year.
It's crazy to think, but I had to look back. It's been almost 2 full years since you committed to Campbell, growing up in Sanford, right down the road. But give me a sense of when you're at Southern Lee High School and you're going through signing day and getting ready to come to Campbell. What did it mean for you to play close to home and be a part of this program?
Yeah, absolutely. Really just the biggest thing of staying close to home was mostly for my parents. They've worked so hard for me my entire life, being there for me through all the traveling for travel baseball, high school baseball. And so now that I'm able to stay close to home, they're able to come to all the games they want. And it's just an awesome feeling on signing day. You're just living the dream.
I was going to say you have four siblings, and obviously your parents are at most of the Campbell games. We do hear them sitting in the seats. Give me a sense of what it's like as a pitcher to have that support and what you're hearing from them during the game.
Yeah, well, there's never a dull moment. I can tell you that right now. With four siblings, and they all love sports, so there's just never a dull moment. So much competition. No one wants to lose, and especially them all being younger than me, they're all trying to gang up on the big dog. So it's awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Do you feel at all as if being an older sibling has helped you adjust or adapt to being the big man on campus in Sanford to move into a college team this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely you have to show some leadership. And coming in as a freshman, I feel like a lot of times leadership kind of, funnels down the drain a little bit. You don't see it very often, but I definitely feel like with this freshman class that we show a lot of leaderships, and we really just want to win. And so that's the biggest thing.
I want to get a sense from you because for people who may not know, in Sanford, a lot of the high schools in your area will play the Harnett County schools, the Tritons, the schools in Irwin, Harnett Central, you name it. What are these rivalries like between not only the high schools in Sanford, but when you're playing these schools right down the road from Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we're all so close that we all know each other, whether it's Southern Lee and Lee Senior or Southern Lee and Triton. Everyone knows, and you're all friends with them, and you just want to beat them. And so definitely, we won the conference my junior year in the I think it was try something. But we won the conference, and it was an awesome feeling. Just seeing those guys like Dalen Thompson plays at Triton, who's a 21 commit, and he'll be here next year. I let him hear it every time. Hey, Dalen, we whooped you multiple times, so it's awesome.
And I had to check your Max Preps page to verify what Ryan Chassie told me. But a high school quarterback who was a dual threat, obviously had a good arm that we can tell with the baseball side. What was the most enjoyable part of being a high school QB?
I think just being a high school QB just takes you away from the game of baseball a little bit. A lot of times, people who just play baseball, they get ran out on it. But playing football is totally different. You build a totally different mental toughness and as well as physical toughness. So just being with a whole different group of people and really just learning to love each and every one of them just helps with baseball so much.
And of course, you went to Southern Lee or Lee County High School right across the city from you at Southern Lee. That's a really good football program. So I imagine some of those battles on Friday nights were fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got whooped, but it's okay. We all had a great time. We're all friends with those guys over there. It's awesome, and it's awesome to see they made a state playoff run, and all the our guys were there at Carter Finley watching them. It was an awesome experience.
I'm going to apologize for my ignorance, but outside of Hugger Mugger Brewing Company in Sanford, I'm not as familiar with the town or with the area, other than just driving through. What was one of your favorite parts of growing up in Sanford? Gosh, just 20 miles away from Campbell.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like the small town vibe you get from it. Everyone knows everyone, and high school sports are huge. And that's probably my favorite thing. There's people that you just meet out, just going out to eat and, hey, we saw you at the game, you did great. And I think that's something that goes a little bit unappreciated in other bigger cities. And so everyone knows everyone, and like that's just an awesome feeling.
For you personally, as a freshman pitcher, I know you're kind of taking the season by storm and whatever happens, but what has allowed you to stay composed and not get overwhelmed by whether it's the awards or the accolades or things of that nature that are starting to come?
Yeah, I think definitely just thinking about the bigger picture. This team's not about me; it's about us. And so, just working towards the next week, and really just thinking about what's next. And just the small steps turn into the big things. And so, we're definitely just looking forward to this next weekend. We don't care what happened against Upstate, and so we're just looking towards High Point.
That's a very politically correct answer. You've been trained well. Thomas, it's neat because you've mentioned to me that you've been called Thomas, Tommy, Tom. You sort of have all different names. I guess let's set the record straight now. What would you like to be called by the Campbell community, and what do you enjoy your names, from people around you?
I'll be honest, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'll answer to all three.
No, that's pretty neat. I imagine as a freshman, you don't get a lot of say in that stuff with the
No.
Matt Christians who could drive you to work or your older teammates. So it is nice to have a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thomas, give me a sense with this Campbell team. What has been clicking? Gosh, the last 7 games with the win streak, but really the last 3 series that has allowed this team to move back into first place in the league.
Yeah, I think we've just definitely we finally just started playing like our brand of baseball, really. We couldn't put it all together at the beginning of the year, fighting for wins. And then now we're just dominating. And it's just because our pitching's coming together, our hitting's just staying hot, our defense is coming together. It's just, we're all just building into a good ball of just domination.
I do want a fun question for you because a lot of baseball accounts around Christmas time throw up just the most random stuff. And Campbell submitted, and it was actually your own grandmother and your family that made a gingerbread house of Jim Perry Stadium. So a two-part question off of that. One, how long did it take? And two, where did the passion come from to build gingerbread houses?
Yeah, so I mean, she's just been building gingerbread houses for me and my cousins and my brothers and sisters, just for my entire life. Honestly, I think I'm the oldest, and she started when I was one. So she's been every year just gets a gingerbread house ready for us, and she lets us pick out which kind of direction we want to go with it. And so really it takes about a month for her to do it, a good month. And she never lets us down. It's stud like.
And we'll post the pictures as well, just to remind people. But the detail of the pavilion above the bleachers to have the press box behind that, I mean, that must have taken 10 or 15 photos to look at and kind of evaluate how it all lays out.
Oh yeah, she's super detailed, and she makes it look the way she wants it, and it's never going to be bad.
Thomas, since you are pretty new to this program, what is something about you that your teammates may know, but folks like myself and fans may not know about you just yet?
um I love golf, but I suck at it. That's probably the biggest thing. And one of these days I'm going to get good, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Well, it's neat because, of course, as a pitcher, you have plenty of time to do it. And two, I always see Colin Wolf and Kobe Collins out there playing golf at Keith Hills. So you can have some guys to teach it a little bit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We'll have to beat up on them one of these days.
Thomas, I really appreciate the time. My last question for you, being a freshman, being new to campus, what was the most enjoyable part of your first year as a college student? And that can be athletics, that can be academics, you name it, but just your first year being in college.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is just meeting all these new people from all across the country and just becoming and building that brotherhood. And I've never been a part of a team where, I didn't know hardly anybody coming into it. And just the brotherhood that you build throughout the fall, throughout the spring is just incredible. And I think that's one of the most underappreciated things in college baseball.